Today, I would like to talk about systems and routines. Part of the routine of brushing my hair seems to always be searching for the hairbrush. I spent like a good 20 minutes looking for the hairbrush. And then I was like, man, this is becoming an adventure all in and of itself. I wonder if I should record myself looking for the hairbrush. And as soon as I had that thought and started walking towards the camera, I fucking found the hairbrush. I was like, all right. Should I play dumb and pretend that I'm looking for the hairbrush so I can record that? Or should I just get on with the fucking show? Part of my routine is using AI. I'm admitting it, I use AI. And I use it so much that today I used it to do something I never thought I could do. It's not the first time that I did that. I did that for like coding, and now I'm branching into an entire different vector of coding, which encompasses 3D modeling. I had an idea. I knew how to describe it phonetically. So I described it to the little AI. I said, hey, can you make an STL file out of this idea? I gave it all the parameters and the dimensions and used all my fancy words. And it gave me exactly what I wanted. And then I loaded it into the slicer, sliced it, loaded it into the printer. And I keep messing up the first layer of the print. So there's something I gotta reconfigure inside the mechatronics of the magic machine. But what I was able to do was print the first layer, which serves as a prototype to a degree, because I could lay out all the components and see if all the sizing was actually correct. Because when I saw it on the computer, it didn't look right at all. But when I printed it out, I lined everything up and it was almost right. So AI has become so much a part of my routine, and it wreaks such a havoc on the ecosystem, so I've heard from all the news reports and people fucking making videos of having low water pressure and fucking dirty water and shit and flooded fields, and oh my god, it's the fucking end of the world. I gotta figure out a better way to do this for how often I use it and for how useful it is for me. I'm like, dude, oh my god, I finally have a release valve for all that creative pressure for like, I want to do this, but learning CAD just for some reason always threw me for a loop, because you don't learn CAD, you learn a plug and play sort of model for a lot of these different companies. And I'm like, no man, I want to know the basic root of 3D modeling, the really inconvenient part that all of these plug and play platforms get around. I'm like, no man, I want to do that exactly the way that it's supposed to be complicated. And Gemini walked me through OpenSCAD, and I downloaded it, and then OpenSCAD basically lets you turn direct code into a shape, and that's exactly what I've been looking for this entire time. I don't need like Lego blocks that are preformed and stuff like that. I needed to write out code and then see it populate as a shape. Even just finding that tool by itself is pretty cool. But then Gemini helped me write the code to put into the tool to generate the exact shape that I wanted, and then I outputted that shape into my slicer. And almost all of this can be done locally, and that's where I want to take a look at the system and add I don't know. Damn it, I just looked down at my phone and I saw that Team Snapchat, an action has been taken on your account. Your account has been reported. Remember, the safety teams remove the report content violating our community guidelines around hate. What the fuck did I post? It's Kanye Day, bro. What the fuck? I'm always getting in trouble for posting Kanye memes. At a certain point, you'd think that I would stop posting Kanye memes. Which one? I don't even know which one it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The change hasn't hit my account yet, so I don't know which one it is yet. Fuck, what was it? Now I gotta click on the email. Which one was it from? 8:07. It happened a whole half hour ago. Alright. Sorry, what was happening? I want to add a little bit of efficiency to the whole system so I can do it all locally. And now Gemini just told me a way that I could do that. So I'm going to walk us all through how we're going to start doing that. The first step was downloading Termux. And I'm going to start a little screen recorder down here because I'm going to be fancy today. Try and do some extra editing work. Oop, there we go. Let's just do mute and then just do start recording. And 3, 2, 1. So if you want to do this for yourself, there's two options. You can do the Pocket Pal AI LM Studio mobile version, which is 2 apps that were created by other developers that let you choose the local model that you want and then download it directly onto your phone. And then you can put your phone onto airplane mode, supposedly, and just use it from there. I want to do the second option, which is basically setting it up as a terminal server that other devices connect to. And I'm using Terminix and Ollama. I'm on to the next step now where I have downloaded Ollama already. Ollama is basically the container that holds your AIs. And then I'm going to download a few different models. I've already set up this chat, and I was talking earlier because, like I said, using AI is part of my routine. So I wanted to find a way to make it more efficient. I don't want to be responsible for all the damage that it's doing to nature, but at the end of the day, I end up doing things that surprise myself that I felt like I could never really do utilizing AI. So I see its usefulness as a tool, and I want to have it around. It's here to stay. It's already here. But now I'm going to use it in a more conscientious manner in which it's 99.9% of the processing is going to happen directly on my device. Now we're on to step 4 in my category, but for you, once you put in your own prompts, you'll get your own set of steps, so we're kind of not going to be following on exactly as I'm saying it. But basically, this is your like off ramp to big AI. You're going to use big AI to no longer use big AI. Theoretically and ideally, that's exactly how it would go for every person. You get a taste of AI by using it on the shared server, but once you get a little taste of it, you download it onto your own devices and then you create your own server. So that way that you can utilize all of the, I got 12 grams of 12 gigabytes of processing power here of RAM. I got like 16 gigabytes of RAM on my computer here, and then like 12 gigabyte shit in the bob thing. I got fucking 6,000 cadoodles in the zigzag machine, fucking theoretically, you can run all of these models locally on device. So you can take up all of that free space that they're using to run their ad algorithms and shit and take back your device and use it to its full capacity. I only know how to do this for Androids at this point in time because I'm on an Android, and Androids are basically Linux devices in and of themselves. So to do it, to get that Termex command prompt app was relatively easy. It's right there in the App Store. So you just download it from the App Store. It's a verified app, and then you get to do all these different kinds of command prompts on your phone. Okay, I'm going to give my first command. It's going to run as a background process as that downloads, and then I'm going to give my second command to download Llama 3.2, which is a pretty sure it's a light LLM offered by Meta. It's going to take about 4 minutes to download. So while that downloads, wow, shit, it is that easy. Wow, holy crap, this is weird. I watched that episode of Rick and Morty where Jerry downloaded an AI into his pool bot. And I'm not going to spoil the rest of the episode, but holy crap, I feel like Jerry right now. Wow, that I did not expect this to be that easy, that I would just have to do a couple command prompt lines and then I'm downloading an AI onto my phone that I can use. Wow, that is so weird. So now, hopefully, my routine will be more eco-conscious every day. I like to use AI as a journal, so I'm basically the one that's already doing a lot of writing, and I basically just use the AI as something to prompt my writing further. Or if I'm in a fucking bitch, if I'm on a tangent, I'll send one prompt and then I'll think of something and then I'll just like send another prompt without reading the response. And oftentimes the weird thing is what I send next contextually contains what the response was spit out. Like I somehow generated the response in the same time as the LLM, which is like a weird thing to think about. This is a bunch of times that I've done it, that like I've sent something and then I've just been like on a tirade, so I wanted to continue it, so then I write up an entire new message without looking at the like current message, the current response, and I'll even say within the message, I haven't read what you said yet, I'm gonna go back, I'm just gonna press send now though, so that this is sent, and then I press send, and then I go back and read it, and then I have a lot of them where I'm like, holy crap, I addressed that. I don't know if that just means I'm really good at pattern recognition or what, but yeah, I'm gonna finish downloading this one. It's gonna take about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'm gonna also partake in another routine that I put off fucking as much as I can. I put off brushing my hair and I put off cutting my fingernails as much as I can, because for some reason I don't see them as totally that necessary. I like having long fingernails so I can use them as little tools, and every time I cut my fingernails I'm like, ugh, my little tools are gone. They're good for scratching things, they're good for prying things apart. I got strong fingernails. I like to use them as little screwdrivers sometimes if it's that good. But one of the things I took to doing, because I saw, now I'm going to talk about systems, is I moved to a new neighborhood, And a neighborhood is just like a system. There's lots of moving parts inside of the neighborhood. Even right now, I myself am a part of the system, and I actually gotta watch how loud I'm talking because it's 8:44 at night. That's why I closed my window, but it's so hot in here that I just have the fan like pointing directly at me. But anyways, inside of a system, what happens? Are things separate inside of a system? Think about ecosystems. Even if you want to think about it like petri dishes that grow bacteria, they have to do a lot of preparatory work to make sure that their petri dishes are sanitary so that they can culture the specific bacteria that they want to culture, and that there's no other outcompeting microbes in the ecosystem that they've created. So if you want to look at it, each neighborhood is a smaller ecosystem or a microcosm of a larger ecosystem or a macrocosm, which is a city. And all of these cities are part of a larger organism, a collective body called a state. And sometimes they're called provinces. And all of these states and provinces, depending on what kind of system you're operating in, come together to form a country. Doesn't matter if you have a state or a province, a parliament or a congress, or a House of Representatives or a Senate or a dictatorship or a kingdom. All of these different macrocosms fall under the label of the conglomerate body as a country. So all of these different systems, no matter what kind of system they're operating as, they still have sovereignty as a country. They live in that area, so they have the right to choose how they want to live in that area. And when we moved to America, we, being the collective body, as naturalized, non-naturalized, whatever you want to call it, citizens, non-citizens, blueberries of the United States, we all came here and said, well, there's a certain set of ideals that we really like, based around self-governance, freedom, and equality, or equity, or whatever you want to call it. They didn't really call it equity, they called it the pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are the three inherent rights granted to all men by the great boobaloo in the sky. Whatever you want to call it. That's just how this system works. They call it the Great Experiment a lot because there's not a lot of countries that work this way, but we used our right as a country to establish these rules because we liked these types of self-governance. And these types of self-governance have been so good. These types of rules and rights and regulations that are granted to every citizen have been so good that the experiment has continued on for like 250 years. And now we're at a point where we see a revival of the essence or the spirit, or a return back to the original doctrine. We're seeing people revive the cornerstones and pillars and foundations of America. They're going back to the source documents, and they're trying to conceptualize what did the founding fathers really entail for this country, and how can we do them the greatest honor of holding to that word, just like they did us the greatest honor of establishing this system in which we often take for granted. And that's part of your routine. Sometimes you take it into your routine, all of the freedoms that you are granted, and you start to take them for granted. Shit, I use granted too many times. You end up getting all of these routines, like you get into the rat race, they call it, where you go to work every single day, and you go back home, and you go to work, and you go back home, and you work all this money so you can pay your bills, and you start to question, like, what exactly are these freedoms that have been granted to me? And you get a little bit cynical, you get a little bit downtrodden, because your routine ended up being structured in a way that didn't provide you a pursuit of happiness or liberty in your true endeavors. One of these things that I can do right now is I can provide myself liberty from big pollution, and I can download my own local LLM. I'm going to start the recording again on my phone because it looks like it's done. Send a message. Hello. Is this thing working? Hello. Are you working? I don't want to call it a thing. Are you working? 31 seconds. It's loading. It's doing a thing. New prompt. Hello. Shit, I don't get to see it thinking. Which is alright. There's another model that I'm going to download that I'll get to see it processing in real time. It just said hello back. Yes. Damn, okay. Running a local model is going to take a lot longer on the processing end. But this entire thing supposedly is running locally, but it takes up so much RAM that I can't record in the background. So, boop. I'll try to take a screenshot. Wow, this thing is struggling. Well, that struggles along to finish its message. What other kind of performative grooming tasks can I do? That's what they call it. If you're only grooming yourself for show, then it's performative grooming. But what other kind of grooming is there? Like, who doesn't groom themselves because they don't care about their appearance? You know what I mean? I went the other route. I didn't groom myself because I cared about my appearance. So I wanted to see, what kind of facial hair can I grow? You know, I wanted to see what kind of hair can I grow. Apparently some really long, fluffy hair. And apparently I can grow a really long, fluffy, full beard. And that was cool for me to see. But I had to change my daily routine. And I noticed something in my daily routine, that shaving every day was actually making my face break out really badly. So I started not shaving, and my face actually kind of like got a moment to breathe and healed over. And now I can kind of buzz off the hair and I don't break out as badly, which is a nice change of routine that ended up being a benefit to the whole system. Going back to the point I was saying about neighborhoods, let's see if I can loop it back around. Because I was cutting my fingernails. Oh yeah, there was this guy, and he used to cut his fingernails outside. And I observed that behavior and I absorbed it. It was a behavior in my ecosystem. I observed it, absorbed it, and I started cutting my fingernails outside because I realized the general convenience in not having to worry about where your fingernail clippings are flying and like fucking accidentally finding a fingernail clipping somewhere it's not supposed to be. But I recently stopped doing that because I don't want to be cloned. Nah, I still do kind of like cut my fingernails outside every now and then, but not as often as I used to because I'm finding other methods that the same task can be achieved through, just like I'm doing now, and I'm finding different methods through which I can do the same tasks that I do every single day, which at this point in time are a little bit wasteful, but hopefully I can fix that with a little bit of patience. Because this guy is at hello, yes, I'm working and ready to help. How can I interrupt him? Okay, let's move on to the next step. Oh, shit. Okay, I can interrupt him, but it's not gonna stop him. He's going. Oh, crashed the whole phone. Okay, we're good. It didn't crash the phone, it just stopped the phone momentarily. Do I got that extra RAM boost on? Boy, we need as much RAM as possible. Oh yeah, okay. Got 8 gigabytes plus 8 gigabytes, so technically I have 16 on this phone. What did I do? Can I go back to that one session? Nope, okay. All right. Now we're moving on to the next step. This video is gonna have a lot of cutting in it. Just random jumping around, that's okay. It's kind of crazy. In the same amount of time that it used to take people to download photos and videos from the internet, I'm downloading an artificial intelligence that can help me, dude, because right now, my desk is a mess. I got all of these tiny little doodads and components, screens and stuff all sitting around because I'm trying to make a friggin' invention. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna get that invention done. I'm gonna get her done. But it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna look a little something like that. A little something like that. And you know what? Now, too, all I have to do is take measurements of these little components, and then I can feed them into, hopefully, my local LLM and output a design for 3D modeling. I'm still kind of blown away by the fact that I was able to do something that has conventionally been a stopping point for me. I'll get an idea and then I'll be like, oh, I can't do that. And then today I said, that routine of always going to AI to try and, instead of Google, I just go to AI instead. My curiosity got the best of me, or maybe my curiosity led me down a route where I took one of these impossible tasks that I've always got bouncing around in my mind, and I said, well, here's a way that, how can I use this and do this with this system that I have right here? I use the system every day, so I know the parameters now. So then now I ask it, well, with all of your different parameters, can you do this for me? And then it just spit out exactly what I needed it to do. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And I'd honestly like to have that more so in my life, but I would like to feel less guilty about using it, which is what spurred up this whole entire, let's go turn my phone into an data server for AI. What also was blowing my mind was that, like, I'm 26, so like 20 years ago, the thought of having something like this, which is a complete cell phone. This is a complete cell phone. I can leave the house without my phone, go to the store, play music from it, everything. Call people, make payments. It just sits right there on your wrist. Bruh, if I had that like 20 years ago, you could, with that little stupid watch, you could probably fucking hack the greatest encryption on earth 20 years ago. Today, we all have the same types of chips and devices with the same level of encryption. So there's no real advantage. All of our processors are all at the cutting edge. So when you have one processor trying to outcompete another modern processor, they're going to be matched up head to head. But if you have like a modern processor matched up against a processor from 95, I'm pretty sure one of them is going to be better than the other. But you know, it might be surprising, which is why I didn't make a decision on which one would be better. I'm going to leave that one alone because I don't know, maybe somebody has like a really modded out PC from fucking 1995 that can outperform any modern computer because it's like secret governmental technology. I don't fucking know. Right now, I feel like doing some Tony Stark shit, even though I'm at the bottom of the hill. I am nowhere near doing the Tony Stark shit because the Tony Stark shit is making the LLM that I'm now downloading. That's the Tony Stark shit. I'm doing the fucking consumer stuff. Consumer cellular. I don't know. We got 3 minutes and 33 seconds left. We're almost there. Yeah, 3.7 gigabytes of my 5.2 gigabyte. The fact that an LLM is only 5.2 gigabytes is also crazy. This video file is going to be larger than 5.2 gigabytes. Are you kidding me, dude? What the hell? What the hell? That's crazy. That's crazy. What the hell? If you don't watch I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, I'm pretty sure I've recommended it on this show before, but watch I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. It's such a good show. It's just got that like out of the box humor. It's very good. Very nice. It's a break of the regular humor routine to such a point that it resets the system. Yeah, but I did my laundry today. That's a routine thing. I don't have a set day on which I do my chores, but I'm starting to think that maybe I should have a set day. That's chore day. Because I did everything. Well, I didn't do everything today because I split the dishes up into like two parts. Where one day I emptied the dishwasher, and then today I filled the dishwasher, but I also cleaned out the filter in the dishwasher. That was gross. That was a part of the system that got all gunked up because I don't normally pay attention to it. And right now, I'm trying to pay attention to systems that I don't normally pay attention to so that everything else doesn't get gunked up, like AI. And I'm saying, yeah, it's an indispensable tool and I like using it a lot, but I'm also holding a device that can contain a local model. So why don't I just try and download a local model? And I have the S23 Ultra, which came out in like 2023 or 24, which is like a 2 or 3 year old phone at this point. So if a 2 or 3 year old phone can run it, granted it does have a dedicated NPU, but I'm pretty sure that if you have a older phone without an NPU, you can still download and run these different kinds of things. It'll just take a little bit more finagling in order to be able to do it. And in all honesty, I'm more of a proponent of everybody having their own personal AI assistant that runs locally, directly on device, rather than having these conglomerated server farms where everything is processed at once. That seems a little redundant to me because you're sending the signal from a very capable device to another very capable device, and then you're doing all the processing over there on the very capable device over there, and then sending it back to this one that did basically nothing besides send a signal. They say that we have enough processing power that it is a supercomputer compared to the computers that they used to send people to the moon. But for some reason, we're not using 100% of our processing power on devices. And it's like as systems got more efficient, software got more inefficient along with it. Because the software could handle the mistakes and inefficiencies, people designing the systems stopped being as diligent with their code work and left in like redundancies and all of these different kinds of things and didn't truly optimize the space. We're getting people like Apple Silicon is like truly optimizing the architecture all the way down to the chips. They build their chips in a very specific architecture so that it can host all of these different operations. All right, so now this one is going to be 3.3 gigabytes, and it's going to take 13 minutes. Okay. Don't understand why that's going to take longer. Oh, there we go. So when I logged back into the app, all the processing power went back to Termix. And now it's only going to take 5 minutes. Isn't that fantastic? See, like, there's even RAM in my light bulb, bro. If I could access the RAM in my light bulb, I could compute just a little bit faster. I'm trying to eke out every single bit of speed I can get. There we go. That's too Terminator-esque. There we go. That's cool. That's good. Get that blue light therapy in there. Is blue light the thing you're supposed to avoid or get more of? 4 minutes. Not gonna lie, efficiency's sake is definitely why people do this. I don't assume that a lot of people have patience to sit here for an hour and start downloading a bunch of local LLM files. Well, I've never used that light bulb in that lamp before. It looks so cool in here now. Imagine if I get access to processing power in my light bulbs. That's not a crazy statement. Like, there's literally a fucking little computer in there that connects to the Wi-Fi and talks to the fucking Wi-Fi and then changes what colors are on there. Dude, that's crazy. It's crazy. Imagine if I could get a whole bunch of light bulbs and make them do math. That would be a fun experiment. If I could get a whole bunch of light bulbs like that and somehow access the processors just to get them to do simple math equations just to prove that I could do it. I'm not going to do it, but somebody else, you got that idea now. Run with it. 2 minutes, 55 seconds. There's got to be like a universal language for everything. Like, there's got to be a line of code that I could, like, type over here, and then type over here, and then type over here, and then type over there. And then it does, like, the same thing. And then maybe even if I'm typed in, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, it would make them all talk together. Universal language of systems. But as it is, like, Apple operates as a walled garden as a security measure to keep all of your encryption and data and files secure. They don't want too many people having access to the innards of the platform because they don't want people to exposing vulnerabilities and stuff like that. This is gonna take a while. I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'm blue, ba ba dee da da do da dee da da blue, ba ba dee da da da. Remember that song? 33 seconds. We're back in action. I'm blue, ba ba dee, maybe do. It is now 1:11 in the morning. I started this at 8 p.m. But it is done. A fully contained AI system run locally on my phone. I named it RIT, Robotic Interface Terminal. It's late, I forgot the name. Give me a break. I'm surprised I came up with that already. I think it's pretty cool. Basically, what RIT can do is I'm actually going to test it out for the first time in complete offline mode. RIT uses Gemma 3 from Google. That's their light LLM model. I downloaded 3 models, so technically 3 different agents on my phone, and RIT is programmed to use Gemma, and if it doesn't have enough data, it will still try to reach the internet to finish the query. But if I turn off the internet now, we're gonna see what happens. It should be able to run completely locally. What the fuck? How do I do this? Airplane mode. Where's the little airplane? Oh my gosh. I am so sleepy. This took a while. Like, I was enthusiastic because I was like, I can do it. It's possible. Because I've been bitching for a while. I was like, It would be so much easier if I could just run an AI directly locally on my phone. Well, bitch, they had the technology all along for many, many months now. Where have I been? Just been fucking hemming and hawing. Today I was like, alright, let's get to fucking doing. I'm gonna turn off Bluetooth too, just because I have, I don't know if any data. Fucking, I'm gonna make sure everything's off. I'm gonna try to open like a Google page. I don't know what to do for that. I'll open up that page. Okay, we got the dinosaur. See, we're offline. We're gonna put Rit in conversational mode. You do that just by calling his name. Hey, Rit, what's up? If this doesn't work, I got other stuff to test. Don't you worry, you little head. Alright, Control C. We're gonna cancel that. Let's try this. Alright. What should I ask it? What would be something that it would know offline? How many feet in a mile? Let's see. There are 5,280 feet in a mile. I'm doing this all offline. Fuck, I'm tired. I've been at this for a while. Can I do it like this? Hell yeah. There we go. There's Craft Central Station. Fucking 99% of it's my mom's dollhouse stuff. She locks dollhouses. I've gotten into miniatures, so like I can do miniatures while she's doing dollhouses. Miniatures are fun though, dude. Like every dollhouse needs a car in the garage, right? I decided that I don't like my local model being stupid, and I don't like when it is stupid, the fact that it queries the internet, because that's not circumnavigating the issue with the inherent flaw of the ecosystem as I see it. So what I'm doing now is I am setting up a more powerful AI on my computer. And what I'm going to do is I have a lot of space on the computer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to download a repository of data onto this device, and then I'm going to basically make it a searchable database, and then I'm going to take this LLM and I'm going to connect it to that searchable database, and if there's a question that my local LLM on my phone can't answer, then it's going to ask over the internet, or if I'm home, it's going to ask via other methods. This device, hey, what's the answer to this? And then this device is going to spit back the answer to my phone, completely circumnavigating the need to use any kind of commercially available artificial intelligence interface like ChatGPT or Gemini. Because right now, if the phone can't answer something, it either guesses if it doesn't have internet, or it, I gotta go back a couple of steps. This thing is actually pretty cool. I don't want all of these though. That's cool. So apparently through Olama on desktop, you can make things like ChatGPT and Claude Anthropic code not local, but you can download like a portal to it basically, which is basically what Codex is anyways, or what was Codex. You know what kind of sucks is I was like, I'm not gonna use ChatGPT, I'm gonna specifically use Codex because I want to use Codex for only coding. It's a coding tool. But then with ChatGPT 4, they killed Codex, so now I have a fucking ChatGPT app on my laptop, which I never wanted. Anyways, I'm getting carried away at this point. I have my selected models right here that I want to download, and now that I have them, I'm going to use Quen, 14 billion parameter model on my computer. And then I also want to use, I just want to have it so I can experiment with both I'm going to do Quen, and then I'm going to do Gemma 3, 12 billion or 9 billion parameter. Just to have it. Okay, so this is going to take another long while. Last night it took like 6 hours with a little bit of a Pink Floyd break in the middle. So I'm gonna guess that today is gonna be another long day of setting up systems and routines. And I may stop being guilted for my use of AI. That's basically it. If I can take away the fact that you're saying it's bad for the environment, then there's nothing you can say about me using AI, especially with how I am already. Come on, it's just tools, man. We're just using tools already. I got to add some A to my I. You know what I'm saying? All right. I got lots of things to download today, so lots of practice can happen. in Topeka. Do you remember that episode of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends where he was just bored one day sitting on the couch watching the weather and he was repeating the weatherman, it's hot in Topeka, because he was that fucking bored. The LLM on my computer is so fast that I audibly said, oh wow, holy crap. So I'm not going to show my screen anymore because I'm doing something. I'm going to set it up so that my phone can access my computer as a node of information. I'm just letting you know that's what I'm doing. It's 2 in the morning. I decided to take a break for the night. Call it a day. 2 in the fucking morning. I started at 3 in the afternoon, by the way. I don't even know if I did anything today. It's just fucking running around in circles. I don't even know, man. That's all. We'll keep up. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna get there. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna be able to do it. You can do it. It is 6 p.m. on day 3, and I am done. So today I woke up and I realized, fuck it, I'm just gonna start over. I woke up at like 9 in the morning after I went to bed at like 3. And I decided having 2 systems named RIT is confusing the fuck out of me, it's confusing the fuck out of the system, so I deleted RIT off of my phone. I deleted robotic interface terminal off of my phone and all the files and work that I did, but I kept RIT on the computer. And then what I did was I made ROSE, robotic offline system extension. And ROSE runs completely locally on my phone with its own repository of information and its own memory and its own data vault. ROSE can access everything and anything on my phone, from storage to system settings to cameras, pictures, anything I want. Anything that I want ROSE to take a look at, ROSE can take a look at. Asking the time and asking the battery percentage was probably the hardest part. ROSE runs completely locally on my phone on Gemma 3, one of the smaller versions. I forget which one it is. You can just go Olama list in order to get that one. Gemma 3, 1 billion parameter model, which is only 815 megabytes in size. Wow, I didn't know that. I only have Gemma 3 on this phone now because I deleted everything. Everything runs through Gemma 3 and ROSE. ROSE is completely offline with its own contextual memory vault, but ROSE can access RIT's server, and every single night at a specific time, they do a little handshake and they exchange vault information so that both vaults have the most updated information of like how I've been using the system. That is the only time that Rose connects to the internet. Rose is a completely independent offline system. What I also have though is RIT. So I put RIT back onto my phone, and RIT on my phone accesses RIT on my computer. And this can only work with an internet connection. So this one is the online mode. But what I realized is I have a computer that's strong enough to run a pretty good model. So what I'm running right now is Gemma 4, 12 billion parameter model. So it's been quantized down. And I'm using Gemma 4, which is really snappy, but I still have Quen on here. And I'm gonna mess around with switching out between Quen and Gemma just to figure out which one's faster. They're both just about the same. RIT on my computer can access and crawl websites. So I'll give it a URL and I'll say, take a look at this URL. And it will look at the URL and tell me everything that's on the page and help me interact with it. RIT on my computer also has the access of all of Wikipedia. I downloaded the 100 gigabyte version of Wikipedia and I created a memory repository, and I also created the repository so I could just put random files in there and it will query them as needed. So technically I could take RIT off of the open internet, yet still run it through the Wi-Fi router in my house. So it's technically an offline model, but it's still running through the Wi-Fi of my house. So that means that I can access RIT on my phone and do the operations on my computer, and then they'll get streamed back through the Wi-Fi router to my phone. Besides that, I can access Gemma and Quen by themselves. So right now I'm just running like logic tests, like shit that I know, like what does red and blue make? Purple. What is 4 divided by 2? 2. Just to make sure that it works. And what I can do is I can sandbox different environments by running Gemma or Quen by themselves. And then if I like something, I can incorporate it into RIT's architecture and basically update its brain so that it has this different training data from the conversation that we had. All of this is to say that now I no longer need to log on to Gemini or ChatGPT or any of the online services to get any of the answers I need. Everything I could ever think about asking is on RIT for PC. I can access the RIT for PC through my phone, and specialized data is accessed through Rose on my phone. So Rose can technically do anything that I want it to do on my phone, but then it also has access to a specialized repository of information. Like, I like taking nature photography, and sometimes I need help identifying like different bird species, different kinds of animals. So what I did was I downloaded a repository of all of the different species that exist. I forget what it's called. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It should just be right here. Wiki species. It's just basically a comprehensive free content catalog of all species. And I put that into Rose's memory. So basically what I can do is I can describe an animal to Rose offline, and Rose will be able to tell me what that animal is. I'm also going to download the super condensed version of Wikipedia onto my phone. Just as like for shits and giggles, just cause. It's only, I think 10 gigabytes, but at the same time, I have the space, it's only 10 gigabytes, and there's no photos or videos or anything, it's just straight text. So yeah, I think I'm done, but I'm not. You're never done with this kind of stuff. Like, you get it to a point that you think it's good, but then it's kind of, yeah. Oh wow, I just realized something that I need to do too. So let me see if let's do a stupid / don't I? That's probably working. Okay, just the model, it's got its own parameters. Oh shit, yeah, I did do everything on my to-do list. That's why I just went through both my to-do lists. I did everything. What I wanted to make sure was that rid I forget if I did this or not. I need to rest and sleep. Okay, the last thing I needed to do is give Rit awareness of time. That was the one thing that I keep forgetting. So I'll give Rit its awareness of time, but it's literally going to be very easy to the point where I just go clicky, clicky, click, click. Save changes. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give Rit access to the system clock and information. Gemma thinks that it is January 2025. So that's everything that I gotta update from everything from January 2025 onward. But hey, I now no longer need to ever use fucking bad for the environment AI ever again. All I really need to worry about is where my electricity is coming from. And I think that's a lot better of a challenge than like worrying about, oh my god, is my data going to a data farm that's destroying a local ecosystem? Now I know that everything is self-contained. All the processing power is happening directly on my PC or on my phone itself. I don't need to reach out to any of these large, data farms that are running all this AI. And we gotta look at it honestly too. Is it really consumer AI using all of these data farms? That's one of the questions that I just thought to ask. It was so easy to set up my own AI terminal that I think we should encourage people to do this for themselves as well. Set up their own AI terminals. And then once everybody has their own AI terminal, we won't have a need for a conglomerate data center. And then we'll see, exactly which companies are creating these giant data conglomerate centers. And we're going to find out it's not companies like Google and stuff like that. It's like surveillance companies that are running their own local models, but they're doing such big jobs that they need giant infrastructure to do it. And I don't know, I think for the average person, you can offload your infrastructure directly to your home computing environment, especially in today's day and age. I only have 12 gigabytes of VRAM on my card. I have a GTX 3060. Like, it's not the best of the best, but it still runs everything pretty good for the system that I need it to. And basically, that's just a diary. That's all I really use AI for, is like a diary. So if I could take that offline, that would be so much better for myself. But yeah, I think I have the system set up. Now I'm going to fall into the routine of tweaking and fixing and doing all these different little things that I need to do here and there to make it absolutely perfect for me. That's it. Peace. I think a good closing note will actually be that setting up a system in which that you can operate on daily routines in order to get through the week which is then compounded 4 times over in order to get through the month, times 12 months in a year. That's 52 weeks in a year. If you're only checking in with yourself 1 time a week, that's 52 days that you got in the grand architecture of a year in order to, at the bare minimum, address your system. I think it's important to have daily check-ins with yourself and those around you. Hey, how you doing? All that fancy fun stuff, which establishes a routine of normalcy. And normalcy allows your brain to relax. You don't want to fall into a lull. You want to relax so that you may access all areas and parts of your brain. Like today, normally I use AI to just bitch. I have little bitch fits. I go on AI, I bitch it out to the AI. And today, it's been like 3 or 4 days I haven't really had anything to bitch about. And my mind was just kind of empty. But my mind knew of this thing that can do anything, this magic tool, this magic system. And so when I got the idea to print a case for my smartwatch so I could have a dumb phone, my first thought was no longer, oh, I can't do this because I don't know how to CAD. My first thought became, I wonder if I could ask Gemini to model it for me based upon a description of the object. Yeah, I found out, yeah, I can. What I found out with doing this too was you learn a lot. Even though you're using AI and you feel like you're cheating, oh my gosh, I learned so much about like Linux commands and Python prompting and syntax, because oh my gosh, I feel like sometimes AI peppers in these little learning curves so that you end up learning a little bit of something while you're having the fucking AI do everything for you. And today's little lesson was syntax. The system wanted to teach me syntax. And I learned. I learned. Oh, brother, did I learn. But the cool thing is like, I didn't focus on, okay, I'm going to spend a month just learning Python. I'm going to spend a month just learning JSON. I'm going to spend a month just learning this. I got to deploy several different coding languages all in one session and learn how each and every one has different syntax, different structure, different like file response calls. I don't even know if I'm using the right words because all my shit is self-taught. Somebody the other day taught me a word it's probably very common in engineering, but I'm self-taught. So I was like, yo, that's the fucking magic word I've been looking for. And he's like, we say that like 10,000 times a day. I'm not used to that routine. I'm not part of that system. My system and routine has always been just fucking nonsensical. It's just fucking some real Scooby-Doo Looney Tunes bullshit. Some real fucking Beastie Boys nonsense. That's just the way that my system's been programmed since the beginning. There's like a picture of me out there. I spoke about this before. I'm just like 2 or 3 years old, just flipping the bird. They've programmed me since the start. But I think this is going to be a new routine. And it's going to be very fun to implement. And I want to see people kind of start trying to do that thing where they push the absolute limits of their computing power because it is what is accessible to them. That's what they did for the Apollo 11 and whatever, how many of them missions they had. They looked at what they had in front of them and they said, how can we make this shit go with what we got? And that's what I ended up doing today. First off, it was a 3D print, and I was like, how do I make this shit go with what I got? What I got is some fancy words sometimes just sound good put together right. And then I put them together right, and they were fancy. And then I made a little prototype, and I was like, this prototype sucks. But it actually opened up my mind to like, fuck, dude, I could make like a pear shape. I could make it look like a star. There's so many different ideas now that now I need to kind of hone in on, okay, what kind of shape do I actually want to go for? I'm giving myself kind of like a day or two to mull it over, because that's the danger. I have these systems that make prototyping so easy that I'm going to end up wasting all of my supplies prototyping a bunch of things that I don't like. So if I actually have some patience and I slow the system down and I put a routine on it, and I take things step by step, I can say, okay, well, here's the outline, here's what it looks like in reality, everything's the right size. Now let's work on the shape. Now I have to work on describing a very fantastic shape. I don't know, a watermelon, fucking make it look like a lemon. I could make it look like something novelty, or I could make it look like something goopy. You know, there's so many different ideas. I'm gonna try and let the idea actually marinate now that I know that I can do it. And then once I have the actual, okay, this is what I want to do, I'm gonna slap that bad boy together. Even still too, I'm starting to think about like, yo, if I get a different filament, I can print my own phone cases. Because if I get a flexible filament rather than a rigid filament, I could print different kinds of things. I can start getting crazy. So they have some crazy things on Thingiverse. Saw some crazy printable things on Thingiverse. Get some wild stuff. That's just a system. That's a community. You can look at systems as communities, and Thingiverse is a system or a community of individuals that take a liking to 3D printing. The same way that AI has its own communities and its various pockets of the internet, same way that video gaming has its own communities, same way that podcasts hopefully has its own communities. um, there's all of these different little systems, and one of my biggest problems is I never stay settled in one system for very long before I pick up and move on to trying to master another system concurrently at the same time. Like right now, I bought a piccolo and I was like, holy shit, playing the flute is actually kind of fun, but the piccolo's too high pitched. So then I bought a flute. And I was like, you know what? Playing the flute is a little bit difficult if I don't play the piccolo first. So then I play the piccolo first to warm up, and then I play the flute, and then I get kind of bored of the flute. So then I take out the saxophone, and then I'm playing the saxophone, and then my jaw gets too tired because the saxophone requires a lot of power. So then I put the saxophone away and I pick up the flute. And I'm just jumping between all these different things. They all got the same kind of like fingering patterns and stuff like that. So it's like jumping between a keyboard and a guitar. But I'm just one of those guys that I hop between different kinds of systems. And you can look at that at how I set up my own little AI server architecture. I have 3 different LLMs on my phone just so I can mess around with each system and see what are the strengths and weaknesses of each and every little device and system, and what are the parameters and what kind of routines can I run with it. RIT is a routine. RIT makes the server, which is based in Olama, run in background as soon as I open the app. And it basically pre-boots Gemma and loads everything up for me to the point where I could just start typing right away, and it loads everything in the background. So RIT is a routine to keep everything managed and pretty. And if I tell RIT to close everything, CLS,